The Give It a Go Show!
Welcome to the Give It a Go Show, where we give things a go and talk about it. I'm Rivet.
And I'm Prince.
So, episode 7?
Episode something.
Episode something?
Welcome to episode...
It is 7. It is 7. I am correct.
Wow.
So, yes, we've made it this far. An interesting couple of weeks I've had. I might as well just get into it, really. So, I tried and apparently succeeded in working in a kitchen.
Woo!
Yeah, so I know that might sound a bit weird to everyone, but for a bit of background, I've only ever really worked office jobs or warehouse jobs. My last job, I was a web developer, but I'm trying to do a bit more freelance, so I thought, well, I don't really want to do office work because, you know, I still need to pay the bills. So looked for some part-time work and I thought, well, I don't really want to be sat in an office, you know, again. So I applied for a job in my favorite restaurant because it was there and I was terrified. There. Yeah, it was there. I was absolutely terrified because I've never worked in hospitality. I've never worked in a kitchen before and I have the utmost respect for those who do and have. So I was shocked to find out that the head chef called me in and was like, do you want to do a trial? And I said, I
hope you said it like that. You're like, hey, I like your attitude.
Yeah, no, I just was like, yes, I'd love to. I was terrified. This is a restaurant that serves Latin food, and it's absolutely delicious.
I've heard you talk about it throughout the years. Just hearing you say, I'm going here, oh, I can't wait to go here. Just things like that, and it's just made me remember the name of it.
Yeah, I would say the name of it to give them a shout out, but I actually work there now, so I don't want to do that.
Why? Really?
I don't want everyone knowing where I work. Anyway,
all of the...
it's not a chain restaurant, so I can't really just go, oh yeah, it's just a Weatherspoons, a nondescript Weatherspoons. It's not. It's a lovely little independent restaurant.
I gotta make sure all those 5 people who listen to the podcast don't know where you work.
Yeah, they can't find me. Yeah, that's fine.
And before, like, something weird happens, and then, like, a year later, somebody, or, like, 300 people go back and listen to all the episodes, and they're like, I know where you work 3 years ago!
Yeah, oh goodness. So I took on my first shift as a kitchen porter, or as I call it, a kitch bitch. And, so most of my duties involved, well, mostly washing up dishes, but it was also some prep involved. I was assured that it was quieter than most other kitchens, but I don't have most other kitchens to compare to.
I feel like the only comparisons that the layman would have are the crazy ones like Kitchen Nightmares and, you know, Hell's Kitchen, which is like not at all what normal kitchens are. I'm pretty sure. Again, I wouldn't know either, but I feel like that is the extreme, you know, where they cut it all together and make it sound like it's the most intense experience ever.
I mean, funnily enough, that is what I said to the head chef. I said, I always pictured it being kind of like Kitchen Nightmares. And she was like, it's not like that here, don't worry. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yes. That's definitely not the standard, I would say. Otherwise, there would be a lot more episodes of Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah.
If every kitchen was like that.
Oh, goodness. I mean, to be fair, those kitchens probably aren't even that bad. It's just the way it's edited.
But, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go into the kitchen and you do your thing, do you ever hear a sound that goes, meow?
Oh my goodness. You know, when it gets really busy, I feel it. Something went a bit wrong the other day.
Yeah, you just hear that sound and then you feel that someone's about to call you a donut.
Yeah.
Or a donkey.
I feel something goes wrong and then Gordon Ramsay just walks in. Oh, you know what? I've seen a meme though that made me laugh, which was like, imagine you're eating in a restaurant and then Gordon Ramsay comes in with a film crew and you're like,
oh yeah. No. You're just like, you look at your food and you're like
waiting for your food or it just arrives and then Gordon Ramsay walks in with his film crew and you're like, oh no.
Well, dig in, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's here because of the quality of the food. Anyway, continue.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that was that. Yeah, you know what? It was, as you can probably assume, very physically intensive. Well, when I say that, I mean I was on my feet for like 6 hours, which I haven't been used to because I've been, like I said, used to office work. So I do a lot of walking, but I remained stood for 6 hours. I was very proud of myself.
Yeah, I know for a fact that right now I would not be able to do that.
It was, I think if I didn't do as much walking as I did, then I would have crumpled on the floor.
It absolutely helps, yeah.
It would have, it would have been a mess. So thank you, Mum, for making me go power walking.
She's doing that so you'll stop swearing.
Yeah, to tire me out so I can't swear anymore. So my duties involved washing the dishes, of course. I tried to be fast. I don't think I'm very fast yet, but we'll get there.
Honestly, I feel like when it comes to just for sanitary reasons, it's probably better to be thorough than to be fast anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it. So, I'm trying to sort of make sure I still end up miss a few spots, but I'm always told about it. So I just go back and wash over it. I always try to check because I really don't like it's just a perfectionist. It's not even the perfectionist in me, I guess. It's just common hygiene, isn't it? You don't want food bits all over your plates. It's
Definitely.
not a perfectionist trait. I'm such a perfectionist. I like clean plates.
Me personally, oh my gosh, I'm such a perfectionist, but just, personally, I just don't like having old food bits on my plate.
I know it might just be me, but
I know it's really weird. I mean, I say that, and there are people who think that if you shower and you just let the water run down to your legs, you don't have to wash your legs because water was on them.
I wish it was that easy. It's not.
There are many people who think that.
I know. I've seen worse things, but I won't talk about that now, about people's bathing habits. There's been a lot of discourse online lately about that. But anyway, we're going off topic. So I had to prep some desserts. They looked very tasty and I wanted to eat them, but I couldn't because I had to prepare them for the customers. I had to use the fryer, which was terrifying, but it went okay.
Or would you say it was terrifying?
Oh my god, shut up. God's sake. No, it was fine. I've used a deep fryer before, so it was okay, but I've used like a tiny one that we got from Argos I don't know, I usually leave that to Toby because he's scared I'm gonna burn myself on the hot oil because I'm very accident prone. Although on my trial, I did cut my finger on a potato peeler. So
your initiation cut.
Yes. It's funny because, the head chef was like, you gotta be careful, this peeler's really sharp. And I went, yeah, okay. And I was speed peeling, which was my first mistake. And it just went, in my finger, that blade. And it took a little bit, I won't go into detail, but it wasn't nice. I went through a lot of blue plasters because I was also washing up. So, so that was that. It was quite a good experience. The thing is with doing physical work like that is when you're done, you really feel like you've done enough.
Yeah, you feel like you've done something, whereas also,
yes.
I've said this to you before, with office jobs, as much as people would probably say, why would you do kitchen work instead of an office career? But the thing about that, and you could go into a lot of details about just how competitive and manipulative that space can be, but also, if you go to work in the morning and your mind's just not really awake yet, or you just feel tired, it's hard to focus on something that requires your mind, whereas kitchen work, you can busy yourself through just muscle memory and not have to think about it.
Oh, absolutely. And I have an extremely short attention span, and so it was actually really good for me because I always had something to do. I was always doing something with my hands, whether it was washing the dishes, prepping desserts, cleaning fridges, etc. And that was really great for me. And before I knew it, the time was over and I was done for the day. It was, I felt it after, but but like I said, it was a good experience for me, and it was really great for the way that my brain works. So
I think it works well for everybody's brains because honestly, just things that are physically taxing, if it is within your means, it just makes you happier because, and I know this because I haven't exercised or moved around a lot lately, and so I am feeling not as good as I did when I did do that. And I know exactly why, because when you do that, your body likes that.
Yeah,
and your mind likes that. So it's great.
I was darting between rooms, getting stuff ready. I was making sure that the dessert tickets were all fulfilled, getting everything done. And I like being busy as well. I mean, I don't think anyone likes having nothing to do. Well, some people probably do. But I really like being busy because otherwise my mind wanders and I become an unproductive mess. So it really worked well for me. I would even say, I kind of enjoyed it afterwards, reflecting at the time because we had super busy services. I was just like, oh God. And I was rushing between everything, and the head chef was like, it's fine, you're doing great. She was really lovely. And I was like, oh, thank you. And I was just, oh my goodness. I did make a mess of one of the desserts. It's like a deep fried chocolate breadstick with ice cream, and I kind of ended up hacking the ice cream out of the tub, so it didn't look very good and it had to be redone. So I'll get there.
Considering it's not just your first time doing kitchen work, but just like all of that in general, and for your first try to still have gone the way it did, I feel like you did pretty damn well if you just messed up one little dessert and cut yourself.
I didn't do too badly on the desserts the first time. It was actually last time, because we got quite a few of the chocolate breadstick desserts in, and I ended up... But that's because the tubs were shaped differently. I couldn't
it was the tub's fault.
Wasn't my... I famously have not had a... Look, I've famously not had a good time with tubs, as we may remember from the first episode, trying to get the soap out of the soap tub.
Yeah, you should have asked the chef for his most expensive knife so you could bang it out of there.
She would have killed me.
Oh, her, sorry.
And rightly so. Yes. Yeah, she doesn't take any rubbish from anyone, so yeah, I think that's great. Working in the kitchen has been better for me than working in an office. That's probably just because the work suits me better and suits the way that I like to work better. But yeah, so that's that. Would I do it again? I have to.
I think it's a perfect example of trying something new, though, because you are not just trying something new for a hobby or for a curious thing.
Exactly.
You're trying it, for a living as your work, and that is absolutely a shift in routine.
It really was, and maybe the podcast has had an influence on me. Maybe that's why I decided to just go for it, because I've always been like, no, I couldn't work in a kitchen, it's too much for me, I don't think I could do it. And then I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna try it.
That's the whole point of it.
Give it a shot. That's the thing, I was like, I can always say no, it's fine, just give it a shot. And I did, and it worked out for me so far.
I just realized as I said this whole thing about not knowing what episode it is, I'm looking at my screen right now. I put episode 7 notes right on there in front of my face.
Ah, perfect.
So that shows how good I am at keeping track.
So what did you try? Very curious to hear about this.
This started out as something that I was very excited for.
Oh no.
So I put together a jigsaw puzzle. And obviously I put together jigsaw puzzles before, digitally and physically, but
Moe Jigsaw. We both enjoy a bit of Moe Jigsaw.
I don't. So, but I've never tried an adult one, specifically with a lot of pieces. So I figured it'd be fun for me and my girlfriend to do, as a little activity to do together. So basically, my process of finding the right puzzle was okay, I feel like it needs to be a picture that has a lot of different details in it, so I can see what happens. And I looked up how many pieces that people recommended for a beginner, and at first I looked at 1,000, but they said 500 is better for a beginner. So at first I looked at pictures of animals or something like that. I like animals, but a lot of them were close-ups, and I felt like all of the pieces would all be the same color.
Yeah, possibly. It depends on the color of the animal, I guess. But
yeah. There were a lot of those with a gray cat or something, and it was all just his face. And all of the pieces would just be the same fur, I felt like. So it was a little hard to find until I found some puzzles from Ravensburger.
Oh, yes.
Which are
toy company.
Fantasy illustrations that I found.
Oh, lovely.
They were all gorgeous, so many beautiful, intricate little details everywhere. So the picture that we got was a big blue dragon, and it's basically breathing some glitter into the sky by a full moon. There are some wolves, there's some not manatees, walruses.
Manatees?
Yes, some walruses in the water.
I don't know why I laughed when walruses aren't that different to manatees.
Yeah. It's just, they look so silly, you don't expect them in this grand fantasy image. But yes, there was some water with some polar bears, some orcas, and some walruses. And it was gorgeous, and I thought, this is great. So I ordered it, and I was very excited to get started on it. So this took several days for us to do, and I was kind of busy a couple of days, so we only finished it last night at midnight.
Oh my goodness.
And so first it was pretty wonky to set up because we didn't have a good space to do it. We just kind of set it up on our living room table.
Yeah.
And we have basically just the couch to sit on, which I thought would be fine, but when you're putting together a puzzle, you are doing a lot of leaning over.
Yes, yeah.
I realized, me, 30 years old, who doesn't exercise anymore.
Old man at 30.
I was, I'll take that, because what happened was I was starting to be in a lot of pain back-wise.
Oh no.
Yes. At first, I was, like, overwhelmed just by the sheer amount of pieces, and I was starting to get a little, oh my god, I don't even know how big this is gonna be. How much space do we need? We need to get the frame right so we know how big it is. And that took a while, because not knowing how long it was, I didn't know how many pieces we needed for the frame, so I was just kind of like, oh, find as many corners and walls as you can, we need to get the frame. And I was just so kind of overwhelmed about that. But even when we did get the frame together, and I calmed down, and everything was laid out, and we had enough room, my back was hurting so bad.
Yeah, like you said, it is a lot of leaning over. I mean, what was the last puzzle? Okay, I bought a Moomin puzzle, which I haven't finished yet. But I think it was about 1,000-piece jigsaw a couple of years ago on my own. And yeah, I feel it. Although one piece was missing.
Oh.
I didn't notice until I'd finished the rest. I was so angry, but that's not the point.
Oh, that sucks.
Yes, I feel you. My gran used to be a prolific's not the word. She used to be an avid puzzle putter together. I don't know.
Solver?
Solver, that's the...
Put her together?
Put her together.
Put her together.
Puzzle put her together.
Oh my god. That is...
I'm the native English speaker here.
Usually I'm the one who says those things in the podcast.
Yeah, but that's okay, because English isn't your first language. But anyway, so my gran, she used to put together like 10,000-piece puzzles, and
God,
I know, she was crazy. She had a puzzle table, which I inherited after she passed, and a puzzle caddy, and I only did one puzzle in it, because God, they take a long time, don't they?
They do. And so it was a very bizarre mix of enjoying it and not enjoying it, so we had to space it out over several days, obviously. I think wanting to finish it before recording was my downfall, because it put me on a time crunch. So last night, when we were trying to finish it, I was getting so frustrated. I was in a lot of pain. Despite all the different details, there were so many similar pieces. Many times yesterday, I remember getting very grumpy and just telling my girlfriend, these all look like nothing! These pieces all look like nothing! Where did they go? And it's just, I have a decent photographic memory, so I thought it'd be fine. Yeah. But eventually, I just grabbed pieces at random and started putting them everywhere until one fit.
Yes. Puzzle desperation.
Yes.
I feel that too.
Yeah, exactly. Trial and error, and that's not fun. That wasn't fun, but I wanted to finish
frustration.
it. Absolutely. I was just tiredly picking them up. Whatever, does it fit here, 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 whatever, turning them around, rotating them. Yeah. It was turning into a sort of chore. I don't know if it would have been different if I'd let us spend more time on it, because it was also kind of in the way.
Yeah, that is another problem,
We couldn't move it.
I think that's why my gran had a puzzle table. I get it now. It was like a fold-out one. It's so much easier because you can just put it somewhere. You don't have to clear your dining room table, which is what I had to do with my Moomin puzzle recently.
I feel like if I had something like that I could put on my desk, where I just have my good chair for my back, and I'd have a table like that you can put away, and the puzzle's not in the way, then maybe I'd do it again. But considering what happened here, I'm like, I remember I went to bed, I lay down, and I said to my girlfriend, I'm never doing that ever again. And she was like, oh yeah, maybe a smaller puzzle next time. And I said, no, you don't understand. I hate it. I'm never doing it again. And it's kind of sucked because I was looking so much forward to it. I thought it was going to be so much fun. But I underestimated how frustrated I get with things that take a long time.
Yeah.
If I don't have faith in something that I'm already good at, like drawing, for example, if it takes a long time, I just kind of get frustrated with it.
Yeah.
So, I thought it was going to be this relaxing, chill time. We put on some music. Honestly, putting on the music was the best part of it, because that was nice. And I got to show my girlfriend a lot of the music I listen to, because usually I just wear my headphones, so she doesn't know. And I played some playlists for the characters I've created, so that was nice. The puzzle part, not so much.
No. I was going to ask whether you'd do it again, but I think I already know the answer.
I would never, but now that you've mentioned the puzzle table or whatever it was, if I had something like that, I might have done it again, because I would need to do them in very short bursts to enjoy it, I think, because eventually the pieces start to look exactly the same, and I start to get frustrated. So knowing that something like that exists, I don't think I would go out of my way to purchase one unless it was right in my face and cheap. But if I had a thing like that would make it very convenient, so I might have done it again if that was the case. But as it stands now,
you need a break.
No, I'm not built for it anymore. Okay,
Yeah, no excuses. My gran was in her 70s banging out puzzles.
Yeah, with her frickin' puzzle table.
Yeah, she was a beast at puzzles.
Yeah, if you enjoy it, then a little pain is fine. But I didn't,
yeah.
It sucked.
But you tried it.
And the picture's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that we finished it. Let's just say that.
Yeah. To finish off this segment, I have one more food trying story. So I am a big fan of spicy food. I love spicy food. I will have a pretty good spice tolerance, I like to say, until I eat something that's like that people in other countries eat like every day, and then I'm like, shows how white I am. I wanted to try this particular Korean noodle, and it's famously this like quite hot one, and I was like, yeah, it'll be good, I want to try it. So I bought this hot noodle pot. And I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. You know, I won't have a problem with it. I have a high spice tolerance. It'll be fine. My husband was outside talking to the next door neighbour at the time, so I was left alone to my own devices, which is always dangerous. And I prepared a glass of milk just in case. And I thought, I won't need it. I'm really good at eating spicy food. I'm really good at it. I wasn't in this instance. Oh my goodness. It was so hot. It was so hot. I was crying.
Oh, God.
I was in tears, like, not like, but just because it was so hot.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I had tears streaming from my face. And I don't know, I probably got through the entire carton of milk. I was just like, oh, God.
Oh, my God. And I'm assuming people just eat that normally.
Yeah, apparently so. And like I said, I have quite a high spice tolerance, so I thought I would be okay, but I was crying. It was so hot.
Christ, if you like grow up with stuff like that, you build up an amazing tolerance, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I mean, yeah, I didn't grow up eating spice, so I didn't have as high a spice tolerance as a lot of other people. But this was advertised as being especially hot.
Oh,
I can't remember what it was called. It was a Korean noodle brand, but it came in like a tub. And the problem was that I had with it was actually really delicious, but I couldn't eat it very fast because it was so hot, and I could hardly taste it because my mouth was just full of hot.
Hot.
Yeah, and I was just downing the milk. All the while outside, I just heard my husband chatting with the neighbour, like, yeah, and I was like,
that mental image is hilarious, like, him just having a good old friendly chat, and you just be like, oh my God!
But I didn't want to tell him I was suffering because I was like, no, yeah, I can eat this. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. So it was for my pride. Oh my goodness, I was dying. I felt like I was dying. I was like, I'm not going to get through this. I'm not going to make it out the other side.
That is the whitest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was.
I had some spicy food and now I'm going to die.
I know. It was an especially white moment for me.
I mean, I say that, and I probably have an even worse tolerance than you do.
Oh my goodness, I was suffering. And then my husband came in, and he obviously laughed at me. However, I got my own back because at the time I was playing a lot of a game called Overwatch, first-person shooter. A lot of people probably heard of it, but anyway. I challenged my husband to a Widowmaker battle. So a 1v1, Widowmaker's a sniper character. Whoever got, I think it's like 10 snipes first, won.
Yeah.
And I won because I played the game a heck of a lot more than he did, so I had a bit of an advantage.
And she was the one that you play the most.
Yeah, and she was the one that I played the most, so I annihilated that man. And the bet was whoever lost had to eat the hotter pot of spicy noodles. So...
Was this the same day that you ate those noodles?
No, this was another day.
Because that would have been so unfair if you had it and lost.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
No, I think this was we'd moved house at this point, so I think this was quite a bit further on.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And yeah, I just remember him eating it, and I've never seen a man so in pain in my life.
Did he eat the whole thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my God!
And yeah.
Hats off, what a Chad. He really went full on with that bet. Like, most people would not go that far to honor a bet.
No, and that was the funny thing because he has quite a low spice tolerance.
Oh.
But he did it. He ate this hotter pot of noodles. But it reminds me of when we went to Arizona to visit a friend and we had breakfast in the hotel. I ordered a portion of granola, which was I must say, the biggest portion of granola I've seen in my life. And he ordered something, forgive me if I've mispronounced this, Huevos Rancheros, which is a Mexican breakfast. And he was like, it'll just be like a full English type thing. He did not realise how spicy that was going to be. And all the waiters laughed at us.
Oh, that's funny.
Because I was like, this is so much food. And Toby was like, I'm dying.
You're both just having your own separate existential crisis.
Yeah, pretty much. And so
there's too much granola. Oh, it's so hot.
I mean, to be fair, I think I got the lighter end of the deal. So
like having too much granola doesn't seem like a problem.
It's fine.
Actually,
you just don't eat all of the granola. But he just, oh my goodness, poor Toby. He was suffering, and they laughed at us quite a lot. And
honestly,
we laughed with them.
If I was part of a bet and I won, and the person had to do that, it'd be funny for like the first 3 seconds. But if they try to finish the whole thing, I'd be like, no, you don't have to honor it that bad. Like, it's not. I think I would probably not like to see somebody in that much pain.
I mean, I can't remember what my reaction at the time, but I know for a fact that I wouldn't have been like, you have to eat it all.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's amazing that he went that far.
I know, he's a Chad. He did it to honor his bet with me, and I think that's beautiful. What are you bringing to the proverbial table?
Well, I'm bringing another passion story, which is probably the last one, and I'm going to be talking about theater.
Yes.
So this is another one where a purposeless child tried something new and realized that it was fun and I wanted to do it all of the time. Very similar to the horse story, except I didn't ask my parents to buy me a theater. So there was, we live right next to that school now, actually. It's called a culture school, but it's related to the arts, like dancing, music, and theater. And I know that they had some kind of open house thing where you could go in and try things out. So I must have been around middle school here too, because I definitely know that it was before high school. So I went and tried some things out, and I realized I really loved it. Again, maybe I just was easy to please or something, but the thing is, this was like the catalyst for me realizing that I love to entertain. Yeah. And I also just love the aspects of playing characters and improvising, but that's a whole nother part of it. I also love to entertain in many different ways than just theater, but this is where that kind of got birthed. So I got to join a little group with other kids, and we would go there once a week. There'd be one person kind of not so much teaching us, but just guiding us, letting us do a bunch of different activities, and eventually putting on plays for other people. Usually at this point it was just to parents, but there is a specific event that's called Young Theater, basically. I don't know if they still do it, but it was an event where the groups with all the kids and teenagers would put on something for the town so that anyone could come and see it and pay to see it. So there were things like that. And God, just my love for the stage just really blossomed at this point. So I was a very shy kid. I'm autistic. People would not look at me and think, that's a person who loves to shine on stage. But it was like the place where I came out of my shell because I could play a different person.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've heard that that's quite a common thing, that people who struggle with that kind of stuff can, you know, it really works for them sometimes because it gives them an outlet, I guess.
Yeah, because there were a lot of introverts and other kinds of people like me in these little groups, and they were kind of the same. So that's where my love for theater blossomed, and that was around the time when I also had to pick what high school to go to and what major.
Oh, okay.
And I had no idea because I didn't have any plans or dreams yet, except for like, I want to be a comic artist, which I've already talked about. But I didn't want to do art in school because I knew that I wasn't going to get to do what I wanted to do. We were going to do all kinds of art that I wasn't interested in at the time. Which is important if you want to do art for a living, but at that time I was I want to do comics. Incidentally, that's why my girlfriend picked art, because she thought she would get to do comics, and she went to the same school as me. But I picked theater. So that was my major, and it's this school in the next town over, which is basically very art-centered. All the third years, they do a musical before their graduation, and they work together to do that, and the art students get to have an exhibition at the castle. They don't anymore, but they did back then. And it's just this very grand thing. So I got to go to high school in this very gorgeous, old-timey looking school, that looked like a castle on its own, I feel. So yeah, I didn't know what the future held, but I just knew that I wanted to do more theater, more acting, more character creation, more improv. I wanted to do all of that.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize was I didn't have any practical skills.
Oh.
So I didn't think about it whether or not I was going to get a job afterwards.
Yeah, that's something you need to think about, I guess.
Yeah, my parents talked to me about it like, oh, you have to be realistic though, like, is this gonna get you a job? And I was like, I don't care, parents. I want to have fun all of the time. I want to draw comics and do acting. That's really the most stable and practical skill that you can have. So
I think that's the most theater kid thing about it.
I know I'm definitely such a theater kid in every shape and form, but my parents still let me do it because, again, I was passionate about something for once. So I got in, and I actually got in with one of the people in the theater group that I was in.
Oh.
We were both going there. So, I mean, a lot of things happened during my high school years that I won't get into. Did a lot of things. We did a musical. I started transitioning during this period, so a lot of different confusion, just general school stuff, always a bunch of chaos happening when you're that age.
You're just confused all the time.
Oh yeah, everything's confusing.
And angry.
Nothing makes sense. Oh, so angry.
Yeah.
So angry. Even theater, wasn't always fun because there's a lot of theory as well, and when you're that age and you're in school, at some point, you're gonna be that grumpy kid who is figuring things out. So that was me. But when I graduated and started looking for work, that was a bit of a rocky path just because it takes a while for people to be like, oh, you're autistic. Hang on, we need someone else to help you. Sorry, we couldn't find anyone, so you have to wait several months. And so that happened. When I did find someone, they immediately thought I should look for work at the local theater where I used to put on plays. And I had an interview. And I walked away from the interview, and 10 minutes later, they called me and said they wanted to hire me.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I say lovely, but I also know, I've also heard a few stories about your time at theater.
Yeah, I won't get into that either, but there were a lot of problems, but there are a lot of good things about it as well. My duties, essentially, were centered around being an illustrator, which meant I would do a lot of posters, I did some costume designs, but most of all, I was a directing assistant. So I didn't do a lot of the illustrating part. I did a lot of everything, honestly. A lot of little odd jobs that needed to be done, and I was also on stage a couple of times, which was really fun. I got to keep doing that thing that I loved. But as it turns out, things didn't work out eventually. There were some issues, so I stopped working at the theater, but my need to entertain was still intact. And so like I've mentioned before, I tried the voice acting thing, and I've also tried streaming, which I still love and will keep doing at some stage. And just, I don't know, generally being a clown when I'm talking to my friends, but also this podcast. So it was a very important part of my growth in realizing what one of my lifelong needs was, which is just to, I don't know, be seen and heard, I guess, but also to entertain in that sense. Because everybody wants to be seen and heard. But I was very much, I felt like my drive in that regard was a little different from other people because I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to do that kind of thing. So quitting the theater it kind of sucked for a while in that sense. I haven't done theater in a long time now, but doing these things is kind of part of it, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it comes in different forms. It's not strictly being on stage, and this is performing in a different kind of way just because you're not in person. I think that is the great thing about the internet sometimes, is it does give people other ways to channel certain skills. Yeah,
other opportunities, because I was definitely lost for a while, and I felt very lucky to be able to do that in high school and then to get a job in that field. But at the end of the day, I felt like I was lacking in some practical stuff when it came to work, and it was just not the thing that I was supposed to do as a job. I felt it was a hobby.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that from my last job, more than anything. Working as a web developer, that had kind of always been my dream when I was in school. That was what I always worked towards, was working in IT and, having that kind of job. But when I actually did it for a job, I was like, I don't like this as a job. Yeah,
very similar to like the comic debacle.
Yeah.
But also just, I feel like everything in general gets like that when you start doing it for work. But then
yeah, definitely.
Sometimes if you persevere, you can find that you find a way to balance it in a way you like, but other times it just isn't what you want to do.
No, that's the thing. Again, though, if you try, then you don't try, then you don't know.
Yes, and the thing is, yeah, I do want to entertain for a living at some point. I do want to be like a full-time streamer, but I want that manner of entertainment and performing to be on my terms. I don't...
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't want to do theater specifically for a living. I still wanted to entertain. So it was kind of like, but what do I want to do then? But then, yeah, I realized online that there are so many different ways that you can satisfy that need.
And again, talking about the internet, the internet's not always great, but, generally it has given people a lot more opportunities to pursue their hobbies on their own terms. So people who make their own music and put it on places like SoundCloud and YouTube. There's, artists who can put themselves out there more now because, for example, with artists, like the kind of art that I guess we do, for example, no one would have seen that like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. And the way that it flourishes and grows so fast. And that's the thing, because there are several layers to all kinds of things where maybe you don't like a certain thing, but you like parts of it, and then you can incorporate it into something else.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen many people over the years who do drawing, and they say things like, oh, I hate doing line art. I hate the line process, but I have to do it. And I remember telling them, why don't you do lineless? Why don't you do painting?
Yeah.
Why don't you try this? And like, some people don't seem to realize that they can break out of the box and they don't have to do this very specific type of drawing, for example, in order to draw. They can do the type that they like, and it's still just as valid of an art medium. It's the same thing with that, where like, yeah, I love doing theater. I'd love to do it again sometime, but it wasn't working out as a job. So, but I still wanted to do something that made me feel the same way. And I still wanted to do that as a job, but it didn't have to be specifically that. So the same thing works in a lot of subjects, and I feel like if you are doing something for a hobby or for a job currently that isn't working out for you, you still love the concept of it, or you love parts of it that it gives you, you can try to break off little pieces of it and see what you make.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the great thing is pick it apart, put it back together however you feel fits, and see where it goes. I'm still working out what I want to do for a living, like overall. And I'm 25, it's never too late.
Yes, I think people think that it's kind of a race. People think that by the time you're a certain age, it's too late. It's not. And I know we all fall into that trap in thinking that because it's so normalized. Just take the time to think about what it is that you like about the thing that you're doing and why you like it. I feel like it's important for anyone to think about that, because then you can figure out maybe parts about it that you don't like that you can remove.
Yeah, and I think that's great. Just keeping your options open and giving it a go.
A bit of introspective there. But when it comes to hobbies, I feel like there's no limit to it. If you enjoy something and it's bringing you joy, then who cares, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares?
As long as you can support yourself, and
yes, if it's within your means, definitely.
Yeah, of course. So that's the thing.
That's something that I've realized growing older. It's like, it's a waste of time to do things that don't bring you joy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I know I just said that I finished that puzzle while I hated it the whole way, but let's not think about
Yeah, but the thing is, you tried it doesn't spark joy, and so you might not do it again.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the thing, when it comes to work, it's not always that easy. You're going to have to do things you hate, but... it's the rest of the time, I guess. We're talking more about in terms of
just breaking
hobbies down and changing them to something you like. I'm still learning to do that. I am currently in the middle of that process, especially with my art, because as many artists do, I flick between hating it and not hating it, but I still haven't found my process yet. I think that's my problem.
It was very recently that I found mine, so definitely, don't worry about how long it takes.
That's the thing. There's no rush. It's just whatever comes naturally, I guess.
Absolutely.
You figure it out. You'll figure it out. Don't worry.
Yes,
I'm still figuring it out, but we'll do it. We'll all do it.
This has been a public service announcement by the Give It a Go show.
A wholesome public service announcement.
Yes.
Okay, well then we go on to the news section.
You sound really excited. Let's go.
Rivet's News Corner.
I will pre-warn everyone.
Oh,
it's
no.
a bit indecent. Sorry, mother. It's a bit indecent. Don't worry, I won't be swearing. Okay, I just need to brace myself for this one because it's really weird, okay? I know I said I wanted to talk about weird news stories, but this one's really weird. It almost feels like a fever dream. So, So this was in London, the Redbridge Library Summer Reading Challenge, run by Redbridge Council in East London. You know, they wanted to encourage children to read in the libraries, which is great. Encourage children to read.
I'm like, what went wrong?
So they wanted, you know how they kind of like sometimes bring in performers and things to encourage the kids to read?
Yeah.
So in this instance, a gentleman came in who was apparently hired by the council, and he was dressed in rainbow fur.
Okay.
And he had his nips out.
Aha.
Like holes cut out.
Oh.
Where is he had a fake penis.
I
don't know why, and he had his ass out apparently.
I guess he had to have a fake one, because if he had his real one out, that would have been even more of a problem.
Yeah.
Did he come in there expecting to breastfeed somebody? Why'd he come so prepared?
I don't know. I have no idea why this happened. He's got his face painted and everything. It is the most horrendous thing I've ever seen. You know what? I'm going to send you a picture right now.
Oh my god.
Because I think you need to see this.
He looks like a Sasquatch.
He does, doesn't
Why
he?
are
Like
his
a
nipples
rainbow.
so low on his body?
Some kind of weird...
Yes, he's wearing like...
degenerate pride Sasquatch.
His clothes, the rainbow fur is cut out into like a vest, a crotch part, leg part, and like a hood.
Fair play. Fair play. He's put a lot of effort
his
into
mask looks like he together with the fur makes him look a bit like a monkey. Those are there sure are nipples.
Yeah, he's got
He
them
looks
out.
like he looks like a fever dream. He doesn't look real.
This is what I'm talking about. So apparently it was organised by a partner charity, so the council themselves didn't organise this. It doesn't say what the partner charity was, but I think I can guess why. It looks like they were actually reading a book about monkeys, which might be why this gentleman came in dressed like a monkey, but I don't think this is the kind of monkey that they were expecting.
He kind of looks like a pride monkey, but not like...
Yeah, I said some kind of like degenerate pride monkey.
Yeah, not in the way that pride would be a degenerate thing, but rather in he looks like a degenerate who happens to be wearing pride clothes.
Yes! You can see I've just sent you another image, Prince, of someone dressed like a strawberry, just staring at this man. They're like looking at each other.
This
like,
picture of the monkey man with his sausage out and this strawberry person. It just looks exactly like how I imagine our character versus character talk goes.
Oh my god, you know what that is?
That is exactly
really
what I imagine. It is just as much of a fever dream. They're just that different and both gross, probably.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so there's really not, I feel, enough information on this. Like, what happened? Why?
I feel like I almost don't want to know.
Yeah, they must have known it was a kids' event.
I feel like they looked up someone to do this, and on the page, he looked as prim and proper as possible, and then he comes there wearing this, and he's like, wouldn't it be funny if I did this? And there's just a bunch of kids there, and then he stood there with his...
breakfast sausage.
His breakfast sausage. That is, at least it's very obviously fake, but it doesn't matter because...
It's the symbolism, I guess.
The symbolism.
Symbolism's not the right word, I don't...
Today, kids, we're learning about reading comprehension. Now...
Yeah, symbolism in literature.
Try not to look at the monkey with his sausage out and focus on the text.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I'm kind of torn between wanting more information about this and wanting less.
Is this why kids these days don't know reading comprehension?
Why? Because they don't have this, or they do have this?
Because there were sausages in their faces while they had to learn it.
Yeah, that's pretty distracting, isn't it? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Even with just the garish colors everywhere. It's just, why did he cut out holes for...
This is my problem with this. I'm just thinking about the entire thought process behind this. What was the series of events that happened that led to this?
You know, this guy, he gets on the bus home, and he goes home and he takes off his fake Venus and all that, and it's like, how was your day, honey? Oh, dressed up like a rainbow monkey naked man again for the children. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was the event? I don't know. Books. It's like it's like apples and oranges. It's such it has nothing to do with anything.
It really doesn't. I'm actually reading an article with a little bit more information on here. I don't know, it just says completely inappropriate and deeply offensive performers were hired by independent contractor Vision, who manage Redbridge libraries and leisure centres. So I still don't
did he
know
get to perform, or did they throw him out with Venus first?
I think they threw him out Venus first.
Okay, well,
yeah.
A happy ending to that bizarre story.
Well, apparently it says that the library has apologized for the costumes. They initially said, if you've got it, flaunt it on social media earlier that day.
But he hasn't got it. It's fake.
I laugh about it, but like if I were one of the parents of one of the kids, I think I would have both like laughed and been
I would have been
horrified.
in tears.
I would.
I wonder if he was like, well, I would have put my whole actual one out, but since it's kids, I'll put on the fake one.
Yeah.
As if that's in any way better.
Yeah, it's a wild story. You know, we've taken out the others, the character versus character section because that felt like a fever dream, but I feel like I've thrown us right back in.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. This guy is our spicy babe of the week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he won't win in a fight because he's been thrown out of the premises.
Yeah. For indecent exposure. Yeah, that says.
Strawberry Man wins because of the wholesomeness.
Also by default because he'd probably be the only person left.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's Rivert's News Corner for today.
Thank you for that.
Oh my god. Okay, well, anyway, swiftly moving on to the media segment. Okay, sighing again.
Oh.
I suffer for you guys. I hope you really appreciate what I do for you.
Oh my gosh, was it that bad?
It was pretty bad, so...
What'd you do?
I quite like, when I'm drawing or playing games, sometimes a bit of reality TV on in the background.
Oh no.
I don't have to think about it, but I had to think about this a bit more because it's for the podcast and I have to review it. A couple of my friends had watched this and they said it was hilarious, and you know what, it is, but it also, I'll talk about that in a minute. I watched The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Oh my god, yeah, it's definitely not what I thought about, but that sounds bad.
Like I said, you know what, I love some trash TV. I watched some of the
but
old
not
episodes.
that much, surely.
That's the thing, you know, I watched some episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians in the background when I was drawing sometime, but this was on another level. It's literally just a show about rich people not doing much and having fights.
Yeah.
You know, some of it was really funny. Obviously, most of it's staged. But oh my god. Some of the fights are really funny. But some of them, sometimes I just got bored. It was just like, I'm taking my daughter out for her first drive in her Porsche. And I was like, oh, you're so relatable.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can really relate and empathize with this situation.
Yeah.
With this very human situation.
Oh, yeah, very much so. Like, they're just so out of touch. It's so painful. It's funny, though. You know, some of them have got really beautiful houses. I could appreciate them. And I like a bit of architecture, you know. I like interiors. So I was like, oh, lovely house. And they were just like fighting in the background.
Like completely not the point. I feel like apart from the people who just like drama and that kind of thing, I feel like a lot of people watch those things because they wish they could have that.
Oh yeah.
And I can never relate. I
think
can
that
just
is the
never
case.
relate. Even if it looks nice. I just can't be like, oh, I want to live there. I want to have that. Like, oh.
I mean, the way I put it to one of my friends was, I'd like their money, but not their lifestyle.
Absolutely. I don't want the Porsche, but I want the equivalent of what it cost to get something else, like a normal house. We have, Sweden loves reality TV and especially Housewives and that kind of thing. We have several shows that are based around Swedish Hollywood housewives. And it's just a bunch of blonde women who got married to a man, not the same man, different men. Their own men. Got married to a bunch of men in Hollywood, and now they are rich and they do what they want and they're mean to people. That's it.
Yeah,
there's one that got really popular who isn't mean to people. She's just an airhead. I found her to be a bit funny, but she's also just so rich and out of touch.
Oh yeah,
that it's impossible to watch.
That's the thing. There was some bits that were also quite problematic. So this show aired initially. Well, this show initially aired in 2011, so I thought it was a lot older. But there was one woman. She had a 16-year-old daughter with a 20-year-old boyfriend, and she was like, "He looks like a man." I was like, "He is a man."
Yeah, it's funny that you should mention that because he is.
I was like, okay. And,
oh my god, no.
One of them was being pretty racist, and I was like, oh no. It didn't age well, but then I don't think this kind of stuff was okay back then.
Yeah, I don't think it was well ever.
No, so, you know, like as in, it wasn't perceived as being as offensive as it is now, but I think it was, and so I was watching it and I was like, oh my god, oh no, and I had to take a break for the rest of, I think it was yesterday, from watching it, but I actually watched 2.5 more episodes this morning, because I was like, I didn't give it enough of a go, according to my friend, so I watched a bit more, and I don't know, I just zoned out after a bit.
You know, I've been enjoying myself a lot lately. I feel like I should put myself through some suffrage, just for all that you've done for this podcast at this point.
Oh my goodness. I know, I've watched Friends, I've now watched The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I really didn't know what to watch, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. I love a bit of reality trash TV, but I went through, I think, the 5 stages of grief whilst I was watching it. Although, to be fair, I don't think I've come out the other end yet. I don't think I'm quite at acceptance.
I feel like it's probably good that you're not.
No one should accept it.
No one should accept this.
It was something. Yeah, I started to like one of them, and then she started being kind of racist, and I was like, and then some of them are cute dogs though, so that was nice. Anyway, that's the only thing I liked about it, if I'm honest. Some of them had nice houses, and the dogs were cute.
Can they just make a Real House Dogs of Beverly Hills or something like that?
Yes, just do one with the dogs.
Yeah, just keep the camera on the dogs and muffle all of the drama.
Yes, that's it. I would be so happy every time I saw the dogs. I was like, oh,
yeah,
it's them, the real stars.
I would watch it. I would watch the hell out of that.
Oh, I absolutely would too. It's a cute little Pomeranian, a Shetland sheepdog. Oh, so many cuties.
Of
Show
course
us them.
they would have a Pomeranian.
Yeah, he looks like he's had enough all the time, but...
He's like, you watch this, I live this.
Yeah, he's like, you got it easy, shut up. That was my few days of suffering. What about you?
Well, to nobody's surprise, I played more video games. I played an old one this time, and so let me preface this by saying I grew up with Spyro the Dragon.
I guess, yes.
So that was my treasure, basically. I had a lot of games that were very near and dear to me, but that was like, this was mine. This felt like, this is my franchise.
Yeah.
In that way.
I own this.
Yeah, not exactly, but like, it was very close to me. And so through the first 3 games, it kind of got tossed around between different owners, and it was described as being as kind of stagnating. It changed even the way the games work, as in like, you used to collect gems and you used to collect little things, and I think one of the later ones, it was like a beat 'em up action game, which I've played also. So yeah, it kind of got thrown around a lot of different devs until it finally kind of petered out. And so I tried some of the newer installations, and I liked some and I liked others less, and they didn't have the same magic as the first games, but I generally enjoyed what they were. And so there was one called Enter the Dragonfly that I did not play.
Now, I've heard about this one. Is it not notoriously... Well, people think it's bad.
That's the thing. I'd always been curious about it as a kid, but then I only ever heard bad things about it.
Yeah.
So now I was like, I'll try it. It's probably gonna be bad, but I'll try it. And you know what? I'm fucking pissed. Like, okay,
why?
Maybe it's not as legendary and groundbreaking as the first 3, but from what I heard, it sounded like this was the moment where like the franchise started to deviate, and it's not classic Spyro anymore.
Yeah,
and
that was the impression I'd always gotten when I'd heard about this game. Yeah.
I enjoyed a lot of the newer games for different reasons, and they are indeed different. As a kid, the first 3 were very precious to me, so I decided against this apparent deviation. I said I wasn't gonna play it because it's bad.
This abomination on the franchise.
Out of all the games I've played after the first 3, this one's the most similar to them.
Oh, well.
The music's the same, the voices are the same, the gameplay's the same, the interface is the same, the look is the same, objectives are the same. The way it's freaking like laid out in every way is the exact same.
Oh, well, people like to complain, don't they?
That's what I'm realizing now, is that nobody complained about the games that came after that truly were really different.
Yeah.
But they complained about this one, and I was like, but yeah, okay. I don't know if it's the nostalgia I have for them or whatever, but it's not as good, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not maybe exactly as fun, but it might just be that I automatically have more fun with games that I'm used to. Yeah. But I was like, I haven't gotten far enough to tell if it's as charming or as well made or fun, but for the love of God, why was I told it was so shit and so different?
That's the thing. I'd always heard it was really bad as well, because I think I played the originals, but I think I would borrow them from my friend, or I would go over there, my friend Ada, and I would always go to her place and play, or she'd lend me her copies, and I'd play it all the time. And I've been like playing the Reignited, but now that you're talking about it, I want to play it again. But that's the thing. I'd always heard Enter the Dragonfly was really bad.
Honestly, so I didn't play the very first game. So when I played Reignited, which has all of the first three, I didn't have as much fun with the first one, and I think that is because of nostalgia. But I'm getting the same feeling about this game as I got about the first, in that, okay, I'm not used to this, so it's not as good to me, but I'm enjoying it because it feels the same. So as a kid, I would have loved this. I never tried it because people said it was so bad, and I believed them.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing. It's the same with like movies, isn't it? Where you see the critic reviews and other people's reviews, and you think, I'm not going to watch that because everyone says it's crap. But then sometimes you'll actually watch it or play it, and then you're like,
I was kind of disappointed in myself. And I know it's not my fault, but this was the one game I didn't try. Out of all of them, I played every other one that was so different, and I just enjoyed them for what they were. And I said to myself, well, I'm never playing this hunk of garbage. And I'm enjoying it so much. It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing.
Like, I will say, if I had to give it any criticism, I did hear that it has pretty long loading screens. The loading screens I have seen, one of them was pretty long, but there aren't that many in the first place, because you're in one world, and you can do all of the things you can in that world, and then when you leave, there's a loading screen. But it's always been like that.
Yeah, it has. Sometimes other people's opinions can make you form your own preconceived opinion, I guess, on something before you've even watched or played it. I'm the same.
I'm just wondering what it was about it, because at first I was going to be like, was it just me who heard this? But then you said you also heard it, so I was like,
that's the first thing I said,
clearly there was a general consensus here, and it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
But another thing is that it's very hand-holdy in terms of tutorials. It will constantly stop you to tell you how to do something, but you can turn that off.
Oh, well then.
So, like, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So basically, this game, to those who don't know what any of those are, you're a little dragon with a dragonfly friend. You run around collecting gems, and your dragonfly, he picks up the gems for you, so you don't even have to walk into them. You just have to go near them, and he picks them up. It's very nice. And usually in each one, you have an objective of gathering a certain item. In one of them, you have to collect all the dragon eggs and save all the babies. In this one, you have to collect all the little dragonfly babies who are being stolen. So it's very straightforward. You just go and have a good time. There's some funky music. You help some creatures as their homes are being taken over by some baddies, cartoon baddies, essentially. So it's very cute and wholesome, and sometimes pretty funny. So it has all of that the others had. I haven't gotten super far yet, but from what I can tell, it's maybe not as amazing, but I found myself, when I put it away, I found myself looking forward to playing more of it, which is, the signs of,
sign.
like that's the sign of liking it.
Yeah, such a shame, I think, when people don't try certain things. I mean, I've been the same.
Oh,
you know, where I haven't tried something because I've heard it's bad, and then I've actually watched it or played it, and I've gone, oh, actually, that's okay. And I wish I would do that more, because it's still in the back of your head, isn't it? You're like, oh, but people said this was crap, I can't watch it or play it. And it's like, of course you can, you got to form your own opinion.
There are some things where I usually say, okay, I'm not sure about this, so I will hold off until I hear what people say. But that's when I'm already on the fence,
Yeah.
And I feel like if the problems people bring up are things that I would have problems with, then I won't get it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's different if it's, say, a game coming out or something, and it's like bugs or something. Kind of wish I'd done with Cyberpunk. I was a bit too keen.
It goes both ways.
I went the other way that time. Everyone said it was full of bugs and a mess, but I still bought it, and then it was surprised to find it was full of bugs and a mess.
But the thing about this game was that I was going to get it. Because I love Spyro so much, I didn't care. I was going to get it, and then all I heard was how bad it was. So I was like, oh, well, I'm cool. It's totally bad. I hate it. And it's like, I just want to be cool, I guess. And as I saw it in this list, as I looked up some older games to try, I was like, oh yeah, this is the one I never tried. Well, probably gonna suffer this time. Ha ha ha. And then I had such a good time. I'm gonna keep playing it whenever, honestly. Gosh, gosh, I've just really robbed myself that time. I know I have gotten better at this in recent years in terms of thinking for myself.
Yeah.
But I was still like, man, it's like with sushi, right? I decided I didn't like it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just pushing yourself to give it a shot, because that's the thing. Even if you don't like something, you don't have to play it or eat it or try it or watch it again.
Yeah, like, what are you gonna lose?
Yeah, exactly.
The general populace's opinion of you because you don't think that
yeah,
it's
exactly.
shit.
Like, exactly. You know what? Saying that, I think I know what I'm gonna do for next time's media segment, but I'll keep that until then.
I think I know as well, just based on how you've been suffering this time, and I feel like I should maybe try something that, in this case, I think I will definitely dislike it, and I'm pretty sure of it, but who knows?
Well, that's the whole point, give it a shot and see. Oh, ironically, the funny thing is, I thought I was actually going to kind of ironically enjoy The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because guilty pleasure of mine is a little bit of reality TV in the background sometimes. I like the drama. I always find it entertaining. I find it very funny, when it's like really obviously fake.
I like
they're just screaming at each other.
About drama that I haven't witnessed myself, sort of. I like it through osmosis if I'm like in a chill setting talking to a friend about it, as opposed to watching it unfold, because then it just makes me angry.
Yeah, angry and or uncomfortable.
Or secondary embarrassment, or secondhand embarrassment, I mean. Oh well.
Yeah, well, that's that.
Now we head on to the new and improved segment of the last part of the podcast, which is the Today I Learned Facts, and this one is pretty interesting to me. So, today I learned a woodpecker's tongue is 1/3 of its body length, and they wrap it around the back of their skull to protect their brain when pecking.
Huh.
Yeah, I've seen a picture of it. It literally goes into their skull, like, around and above it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like...
I'm just trying to picture it. That sounds...
Yeah, so I got a little more information about it, and so it says, like, the center of the woodpecker's muscle-wrapped hyoid, the bone, is in the nostrils, so it splits kind of into a V between the eyes, and its two arms wrap completely around the woodpecker's skull, passing over the top of it and around the back, and before meeting up again at the base of the lower beak. So they suck it back in, sort of. It goes like, when they retract their tongue, it just rolls up like a piece of roll-up gum.
Like a fruit wind-up.
Yeah. So, yeah, like when the muscles contract, the tongue just projects forward, and when they relax, it retracts along the length of that bone. And this sentence I found funny. In North America, the tongue length champion is the northern flicker.
The northern
with a tongue that can stick out 2 inches past the tip of this bird's bill. There was someone who said...
As opposed to the northern lights.
And I'm so sorry that... Oh my god. I'm so sorry this episode is just inappropriate, but I have to say it because someone commented on the subreddit that all the lesbian woodpeckers have it made.
Oh my god. Sorry, Mom.
I'm sorry, but it's funny.
It is funny. God's sake.
The northern flicker is...
Why do all the birds have the really inappropriate names?
I know, like, boob.
The blue tits, the great tits, the boobs. Yeah. It's just...
The northern flicker. The tongue length champion.
Oh my goodness. I feel like they just like asked a 12-year-old boy to name all of these birds. Great tits.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, but there's a treasure trove of stuff on this subreddit, so I'm probably not going to run out for a while. There's some really interesting stuff. Yeah, like, I looked up a picture of it, and it really just is like some roll-up candy in its brain.
Oh, wow.
And protects it when it vibrates that hard through pecking.
It sounds disgusting, but also absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it's gross and weird and very interesting. I love that shit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, nature's amazing. It's crazy when you think about how a lot of these animals are just so adapted to do certain things. It's so cool.
And those certain things are just so oddly specific. Like woodpeckers they peck so hard at the surface of a tree that they need their tongues to protect their brains. It's like, you couldn't make that stuff up.
No. God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of, even just humans, where it's like, okay, well, here we have a human, and the intricacies, even beyond the intricacies of how the human body is made up of, when you think about the fact that some humans are the way they are, it's like, wow, really? We are such a biological genius almost in the way that
Yeah.
we're made, and then some humans are just like that.
Yeah. Nature's very weird. I think about it quite often. I'm like, how is something so specifically designed to be able to do certain things? I think it's the way humans and the way, I guess, our hands work, for example, some of the amazing stuff that we can do. You know, you just look all around you, and it's just it's amazing.
Yeah, and we're also influenced by everything around us. Humans are generally, we're not built the same, but we are generally...
biologically similar.
Yeah, biologically similar.
Obviously.
You would think that we would generally function in similar ways, you know? But then we have some humans who are just so vastly different, and not just biologically, but I don't know. It's fascinating. It's weird.
Oh yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, when you think about it. But yeah, I agree with you though. I find it absolutely fascinating to find out how things work, why they work that way, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, everything that nature does is so oddly specific.
I'm calling on nature episodes of how it's made.
How it's
I want them.
how did human make?
How did human make? Yeah. I like that.
It's just like this one person who Googled why the pineapples made their tongue bleed, and they sounded like a sad giant who had just learned how to communicate, and it just says, "Why pineapple hurt mouth?" I think we'll end it on that.
Yeah, I think we'll end it there. But yes, thank you for listening. If you want to send us any of your experiences, then feel free to send us an email at, I think it's giveitagopod@gmail.com. Yes. I should know it by now. Or send us just slide into our DMs, as the kids say, on Twitter or Instagram. Thanks again for joining us, and go make some memories.
Go make some memories.